Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey, everyone. Duncan here with another episode of the Firebelly Social Show, where we chat with founders and leaders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. And, this is just a time that we spend time with founders and leaders and shine our light on them. They're changing the world. They're making it better. We've got a great show lined up for you today. But before that, this episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to gain more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more. So with no further ado, I'm so excited to introduce Joshua Rood from Dr. Hops. He's one of the co-founders and the chief rabbit at Dr. Hops, on a mission to provide the world with radically better tasting and more health-conscious alcohol. He created the brand and its rabbit icon with a Kickstarter campaign in 2015. They've been so successful. People love it. Joshua lives and works in the Bay Area in California with his awesome wife, Lisa, and their 4 rescued rabbits. Joshua, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Duncan. I appreciate your time, appreciate what you do, and I'm grateful to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. You have such a fun and vibrant brand. Tell us the origin story. How did this all start?
Yeah, there's many levels to a good origin story, right? Ours no different. But the core of it is, I was working in Berkeley in 2014, very active in the yoga and fitness community, and craft beer was peaking. It was super creative. Kombucha started getting really interesting, and I discovered you could make an alcoholic kombucha. And I thought, this is what the world needs. If somebody could do this right, it will not only be recreational, but it will be exceptionally health conscious, and nothing like that's ever existed. So I thought this was meant for me. And I met a brewer who was brewing beer and kombucha, who was all in on this idea. And then I realized that the fluffy lion head rabbit that my wife had adopted years before, whose name was Dr. Hops, little 4-pound fluff ball, Dr. Hops was the perfect mascot, like the awesome and unbelievable opportunity for me to honor my wife and to honor the spirit of, people being kind to animals, and serve as an exceptionally beautiful mascot for our brand. So we launched the company, created this magical rabbit logo inspired by Dr. Hops, and, started rocking and rolling.
The rest is history. How did you, how did you build out that identity for Dr. Hops? I'm an animal lover, and our vice president is an animal lover too, so I'm asking on behalf of Lauren, which qualities of the original Dr. Hops did you focus in on?
Definitely, we borrowed some. First and foremost was the insanely original, beautiful, image that she struck. I'd never seen a creature that looked like her. Didn't even know that a rabbit could look like that. A lion head rabbit really can puff out. Very much like the logo. Not quite this colorful, but she really formed this astounding thing. And then because she was a female rabbit and her name was Dr. Hops, she also constantly played on people's assumptions that a doctor is a male. No matter how liberal people are, they still assume that a doctor is a male. It's astounding. So we played into that too, to bring a sense not only of play to those critical social issues, but also just a surprise and delight type of phenomenon.
It is a beautiful, beautiful logo, and it's fun, and your brand is fun. I wanted to ask you, a point of difference question. It hops different. Our drinks are better in every way. They taste better, they're made better, and you'll feel better when you're done. Talk a little bit more about that. How did that all come about? It's so catchy.
Yeah, again, the whole point of going into business was to make something that both tasted better than almost any other alcohol you could find, but was also much more health conscious than almost any other alcohol you could find. And if you could put those two things together, well, you've got something that almost everyone wants, everyone who's drinking alcohol at all. So that was always my intention, to make this ultimate combination of taste and vitality and intoxication. And, we started with completely raw, unfiltered, unpasteurized ingredients and process. In the beginning, it took us 3 months to make something. We also made the alcohol content very high to take care of that intoxication part. And we found that if you do that really well and really honestly, you can make this ultimate combination of those sort of 3 core concepts. And we've developed it a ton since then. Hops are a piece of it. Hops themselves are a very complex aromatic plants, actually very closely related to marijuana. They're not intoxicating in that way, but they have a soothing effect on people, and they smell amazing, and they balance out alcohol in a very unique way. So that's part of our formula from the beginning. Our products aren't overtly hoppy, but it's definitely part of the flavor and aroma profile and the effect that you get from the beverages. So, we've gone in a lot of different directions. We'll talk more about the newest one, I'm sure, but that's kind of where it started, with the freshness of the ingredients, the high ABV, and the addition of things like hops for extra impact.
Yeah, I love that. Freshness, high ABV. And I know part of your vision and philosophy is no fake bullshit, I think is the exact...
no BS. No BS. It is what it is. It really is what it is. We've made raw kombucha. We've made it a very strong kombucha. We've added brewer's yeast to make more alcohol, but we've always done it, in a contiguous process that's very honest. And we've never put fake sweeteners in. That's our first thing. We just can't stand not only the flavor of stevia and other artificial sweeteners, especially the more artificial sweeteners like sucralose or, aspartame or whatever. We've never put any of that in there. No alcohol sugars. We're not trying to fake anyone out into thinking that this because it has 0 sugar, it must be good for me. No, it's high ABV. It has real sugar, and it's got a massive amount of health conscious ingredients and process. So it's a blend. You got to, decide for yourself. When you drink it, does it feel good? Does it not feel good?
And I'm so excited. I know in the pre-show we were talking about the big next thing coming. Let's talk about the living seltzer.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So from those very early days when it took us 3 months to make anything, and it had to be extremely cold, throughout the distribution channel, very limiting, right? There's only so much a refrigerated alcoholic beverage can do. Most distribution channels and most retailers don't want to refrigerate their alcohol. Why should they have to? Most alcohol is not refrigerated. So we developed a new hard seltzer style beverage. We call it spiked living seltzer. It's essentially hard seltzer spiked with the live cultures, fresh organic acids, polyphenols, and hops that come from our kombucha and our process. So we've made this unpasteurized hard seltzer beverage, lower ABV, less sugar. It's only 4 grams of sugar in a can, 6% alcohol. This is more or less shelf stable, so it can go to Costco and Trader Joe's and Target and all these places that don't refrigerate alcohol, and it's very easy for people to buy and store in their garage, right? So it's a kind of a lighter version of Dr. Hops. It's more stable, allows us to expand the brand significantly, and it's very fun. It's easier to drink. You can drink a 4-pack. Our other products are so strong that after 1 or 2 cans, you should probably stop.
And this is
more casual.
And this is what, like 5 or 6%?
Yeah, the Spike Living seltzers are 6%. All of our original real hard kombuchas, which are still in the market, those are all 10%.
10%, man. Yeah. And now I know, Joshua, one of the things that's a very big deal to you is it's real fruit, right? All these flavors have real fruit in them. These are not artificial flavors.
Correct. Yeah, we would never use an artificial flavor. In our real hard kombuchas, we don't use any flavorings at all. Only fruit, roots, vegetables, hops, only whole plant food materials. In the Spike Living seltzers, we do use some natural flavorings, but we're not willing to rely completely on that. We want good stuff to be in there. So we put real organic fruit and hops, real hops, also in the Spike Living seltzers.
And what's super cool is that it's gluten-free, it's vegan, and it's handcrafted. I mean, it's just, you're just knocking it out of the park, man.
Well, people today want really good stuff, right? They don't always know what it is, but that's up to you when you try it, right? But we know people want a brand that cares. They want a brand that's actually making good choices and not trying to pull a fast one on anyone. And, that's partly how we do it. We will be certified organic soon. We use all organic ingredients already. We just haven't had a way to produce it with a producer that was certified organic. Now we're going to be able to do that. So, it's for us, it's a way to provide as much value as we can in the ways certainly that I care about and that the people that I know really care about.
I know that the strawberry smash sounds, I have not had it yet. It sounds so amazing. The watermelon splash combined with the berries, you don't even need to put it in front of me. Just the description sounds amazing.
Well, so the Spike seltzers, because they're more playful and more casual, they have playful names. Like these are cocktail-inspired names, like Strawberry Smash. It's not strawberry, it's strawberry. You're a bit intoxicated already. It's Strawberry Smash. You took a bunch of strawberries and you smashed them up with some watermelon and some alcohol and some hops and you smashed them all together. That's the Strawberry Smash. It's great. It's very light, very fun, very summery. Pineapple Punch, same idea, but much more tropical, much more tangy. Bunch of pineapples, a bunch of tangerines, some hops, some alcohol. Punch it all up into a good 6% ABV, and bam, Pineapple Punch.
Yeah, let me see if I can do. So, hey, it's a strawberry smash.
Yes. Like you're a bit of an intoxicated English person.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. And talk about I know that you are a vegan, or I've read that you're a vegan, and you're very focused on sustainability. These are really this is a really, really mission-driven effort that you guys are doing there.
Yeah, my wife and I have been vegan since 2012 or something like that. We're not just on the latest bandwagon. We've been in this for quite a while, and nothing wrong with the latest bandwagon. Everyone should be vegan, really. Just get it, figure it out. But anyway, being inspired by a rabbit is the ultimate herbivore, right? And the ultimate prey animal, if for carnivores. So it's not part of that ethos, right? Let's be really great to the rabbits. We're humans. We don't have to eat them. So that's part of it. And then for me, it's always been the most authentic way to be a mission-driven company is to put all of it into the product. That's fundamentally what our business does, is it makes products. So if we put, fair trade ingredients in the products, if we put organic ingredients in the products, if we put, authentic, live, wild cultures in the product instead of maybe a lab-grown strain from a chemical company. If we can put it all into the product, it's just the most authentic to me. So that's kind of how we've tried to do it from the beginning. That's still how we're doing it. And that's really where, all the work lies for Dr. Hops. It's difficult to find all those ingredients. It's difficult to keep them that way, especially in the last 3-4 years as supply chains have gotten impacted by the pandemic. But that's still where we're focused, and that's really what it all comes down to for us.
And the other thing that I was thinking about is that, you have really been a leader in kind of I don't know the right way to put it, but a changing, evolving drinking landscape, right? It's there's, if people are drinking less, NA is on the rise. We've had a bunch of NA guests, and people are taking, zero proof beverages and putting booze into them. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's mood enhancers. There's, I think better for you is functional beverages, and then you're kind of straddling a lot of these all at the same time.
I mean, we are part of that for sure. In the beginning, when Tommy's my co-founder and the brewer, when Tommy and I started working on this, it took us 3 years to release a product, right? We started from scratch. There was no real hard kombucha in the market. One of the most successful current brands launched, during our first year of development, which validated the idea that this is something people wanted because their products took off. But for us, sorry, what was the question? It was,
I think that you're just,
all these trends.
The brand has so much. I mean, I think the brand is at its core, and maybe my question is that I feel like as an outsider looking in, authenticity is really more than just in the drink. It's everything you do. And so the culmination of that is that you're so many things to so many people.
I mean, that's because that's who I am. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. I'm the founder and the visionary for the brand and the product, and that's what I'm all about. Even when I started an alcoholic beverage, I wanted to be as conscious about drinking as possible. Like, fundamentally, drinking makes you less conscious, right? So it's kind of an insane, position to take. But that's what I'm about. Like, I want to be able to bring these two sides of life, like the really straight edge kind of, sober part to the crazy wild party part, and bring them together, responsibly in a balanced way. I don't think it's really healthy to be either or. They're both part of life. So that's what I've always tried to do. And it really starts with that. How do I make alcohol as healthy and as conscious as possible? How do I do that?
And I think that it shows very clearly, and your excitement about the next wave of products, the 4-packs, with the living seltzers is it's very easy to cue into that. What are some of the things going on with that release? When is it happening? Where will people be able to find it? What's all the good news about that?
Yeah, great. Dr. Hops is still a pretty regional brand. Like, we're available throughout California. We're all over Arizona. We're in Florida. We have a little toehold in Massachusetts. The spiked seltzers right now are really just out in the Bay Area currently. We're just starting to get them to all of our distributors in California and Arizona. So, right now it's mostly liquor stores and independent markets in Berkeley and Oakland and San Francisco. But we are making a really big push with this product for major chain stores. So we expect some chain stores to start testing this product in 2024, and it really to be widespread by spring of 2025. That's kind of the timeline that we're on. But, with the grassroots launch aspect, we will be available. The spiked seltzer will be available all over California and Arizona, certainly this year.
That's super cool. And tell me, founder life is, I love to get into this on our podcast. Founder life is just super hard. It's hard. It's a grind. How do you take care of yourself?
Yeah, I do a lot. I mean, especially given that I make alcohol for a living, right? Yeah, it is insane, especially with the pandemic that just made everything 4 or 5 or 6, 7 times more difficult, right? Yeah. It's just like, you were in a swimming pool trying to run through water, and then somebody froze that thing, right? You're like, this is way harder. But, my main ways of taking care of myself are, I do have a spiritual practice, which is entirely my own. I'm a singer my spiritual practice mostly lies around some sort of a meditation singing thing that I've developed. So I do that every day or almost every day. And I also I'm not a fitness buff because I don't want to spend that much time doing fitness, but I do something every day to, manage my strength and health and balance. And I'm as religious about that as anything in my life. And then, of course, I eat extremely well, because I am not just a junk food vegan who's, I've been developing my eating habits for 15 years as a vegan. It's a very balanced, conscientious, complete diet that I'm on. And then I also sleep very well. I'm hardcore about my sleep. got the blackout curtains. I go to bed early. I've got good sleep practices, and that makes a huge, huge difference.
And my understanding of good sleep practices is that it's like sleep hygiene, I believe is the right term, right?
Yeah, that's what I call it. Sleep hygiene.
Going to bed at the same time-ish is very important.
Yeah, I love getting up early, so I got to go to bed early. And that makes me in sync more or less with the sun. That helps. But also that was a huge gift from the pandemic. Working from home, my wife works from home. I mean, that allows us to keep the exact schedule we want with almost no interruption ever. Like, unless there's a true emergency of some kind around us, we can go to bed whenever we want. And we can get up whenever we want. So yeah, it is pretty much set. If I'm not getting ready towards bed by 9:30, I'm like off my timeline, right? If I'm not in bed by 10:30, I'm off my timeline.
Totally. I mean, it's interesting. I switched about 2.5 years ago, and it made, from being like I'm going to stay up till 11:30 or 12 every night to go to bed by 9:30 or 10. And man, it's a much better life. I mean, because you're up earlier, you don't have to rush out the door. You have time to wake up and whatever your morning rituals are. It's a whole different life getting up early.
Yeah, I love it. It once you're programmed for it, there's so much space. There's so much quiet in the morning. There's nothing like it. There's no other time that you can find that kind of space unless you stay up all night and find it at 2 a.m. But that's got a different set of problems. So
I think there's a time and a place for that. But I think that when you find that, I mean, I'm speaking from experience. Like when you find that space at 2:00, you're tired. Whereas when
it's different, right?
In the morning, you're fresh, and it's like the ideas and just sometimes. I mean, I know you know this feeling. It's like the feeling of thinking about nothing. It's just wonderful. You're looking, as you say. My wife goes out and looks at when the sun's rising. She wants to see the light. She wants to look at the horizon.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, I do that too. I do that often. That's part of it's not every morning my ritual, but I love doing that as well. It is special time. I mean, dawn. It's freaking dawn. I mean, metaphorically and literally special time.
So you are. I'm going to tell you, and you probably already know this, but I've talked to probably 120 founders over the last 3 years, and you're one of the very few founders who actually has that focus on their core. The normal answer is, man, I wish I did a better job, but I'm trying to exit, or I'm trying to like get into these new stores. And I feel like the leader has to take care of themselves. If they don't, then how are the other people going to do it?
Yeah, that does seem to be a pretty obvious kind of way to look at it. I think you're right. I just know for myself, if I didn't do it, I'm a bit of a racehorse. Like I'm a performer. If I don't take care if I don't treat myself like a racehorse, I won't be able to run. I mean, I won't be able to run as fast as I should be able to run. So that's kind of how I look at it. The mission that I'm on is important enough to me that it requires really good self-care. Like it's not a selfish thing. It's a performance thing.
How are you feeling about the kind of the industry and the market in general? What are you seeing coming up in the future? Are there any things you've seen or that you're looking forward to in general?
It's a crazy time right now in the market, right? There's so many companies really from top to bottom that are massively impacted by what's happened in the world in the last 4 or 5 years. And really, I really believe all of humanity is just trying to forge a new identity on the planet. This post-pandemic, like, we need to be better to ourselves kind of identity that we all discovered by being forced to stay home for a couple of years. Like, I don't know. There's so much going on. So for me, that's mostly what I think about is how can I contribute to and be a part of that, spiritual or whatever the heck you call it, evolution for humankind. And as far as a brand and a product goes, I think the the main thing that I see, the main ways to do that are not only with the integrity of your product, but with how you communicate about your product. And that does come down to many social media factors as well. What is your presence on social media about? What are you saying? What are you leaving people with? How are you leaving, people from their interactions with you? So there's that part, but you really asked about the marketplace, and, with health conscious, alcohol is especially interesting and problematic because you really can't say alcohol is healthy and for good reason. I mean, in most ways it's not, right? It's a known toxin. Like, it's not healthy. I mean, not in that way, right? I mean, and I think there's a lot of people that have tried to do a more healthy alcohol play that have really done it in a just a bullshit way, frankly. And people catch up with that eventually, or the FDA catches up with it, or the lawyers catch up with that, or whatever happens. So really, I'm hoping that there's going to be continuing development of authentic brands who are not just doing that lip service, but are actually going out of their way to produce something that is a true value to the world, even if it is recreational, which is also a value, right? People do need recreation. And people do often benefit from alcohol, even if it's not technically healthy. So again, that's what I'm hoping to see more and more of is the authentic brands that are doing it. They're doing it with integrity, succeeding. That's what I'm hoping.
I mean, I think that's really the core of it all. As far as I can hear and see from you, is like keeping it real and rolling with integrity is really like what you're doing, and you're making the world a better place. So,
we're certainly trying, and it's not easy. I mean, the new product, our Spike Living Seltzer, we've made it one time. It's not nearly like healthy enough for me. Like, we're not gonna just be like, oh, we did it. Like, no, we got to make it better. We got to get more cultures in there. We got to get more fruit in there. We got to get more fresh organic. Like, we got to make it better. We got to quantify all that stuff. Like, that's, I'm never going to rest, ever until I'm dead. But we're gonna, and that will happen, right? But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going in the direction that we stand for.
Let me ask you this: like, you've obviously had like an amazing journey. You've had some amazing people, and you've done amazing things. What do you say? I love to ask founders this question. What do you say to someone who's thinking about that journey, or they've got an idea, or they're making something, or they're responding to, I mean, it's usually a response to their own philosophy, right? My kid's got a gluten allergy, so I'm going to make the best gluten bar out there. What do you say to those people who are thinking about it? They're inspired by you. What do you say to them?
Yeah, that's a big question, right? That's like a life question, because you could start a company or you could start anything, right? You give your life to something. Right? You become a minister. I don't know, whatever. You give your life to something. And, I've given a big part of my life to Dr. Hops, certainly not all of it, but a huge part of it. And, for me, it was like when I was a kid, I had all kinds of brands that I made up. Like, I did do that from the very beginning, but I never really thought about it. I just went through life and kept learning and kept coming up against, pretty important obstacles in my life, and transforming myself and transforming how I relate to life. And, it's something for me at some point, there just became a moment where it was like the thing to do. Like, like the idea was there, the people were there, I was ready. Like, and at that point I just had to start. I still didn't have all the answers or even close, right? Like at that point I knew I had enough that I had to start. If I didn't start, it was never going to happen. So you got to just go and put your butt on the line for whatever that thing is. And there is a point. Like, if you don't do it, then if you look in the mirror, you're stalling or you're procrastinating or whatever it is.
It's a beautiful way to put it. And I was the other question I had was I had like Jordan Russell. He's the founder of Raw Provisions, and they make some of the world's best coconut water. It comes from a very specific region in Thailand, and he said that Thai have this philosophy that if they don't like someone, they don't want to work with them. And I'm wondering, like, what do you think of that kind of philosophy? I mean, obviously you meet so many people, and authenticity is such a core part of who you are as a person and as a leader and as a brand. Like, do you think about that kind of thing? Like, hey, the value is going to match.
I do, but I have a pretty unusual take on that specific thing. Like, to me, I'm more focused on the mission than whether I like somebody or not. If there's somebody that is going to fuel the mission and I don't like them, I'm going to work with them. I'm going to find a way to like them. My likes and dislikes are relatively insignificant. Those are just like personal issues. Like, really, they're personal limitations in a lot of ways. That's kind of how I approach it. Now, at the same time, if I were to meet somebody that was clearly not a match, yeah, I would just go elsewhere. Right?
It's like, I guess, like yoga, right? It's like, it's easy to start yoga, but it's very difficult to get good at it. And maybe that's part of your yoga. It's
definitely part of my yoga, for sure, is working with people that I, not specifically finding them that I don't like, but like but not letting that stop me from something that's way more important than that. Like, that's, for me, that is my part of my yoga. Like, you in yoga, like in the physical practice of yoga, you put yourself in a position that's uncomfortable, and you do it on purpose because there's something to learn. There's something to discover. There's something to be gained from that. That's why you do it. So that I do that a lot in my life. It doesn't necessarily make it easy, but it makes me grow like crazy. So,
being uncomfortable, and being a high achiever. I mean, clearly you're someone that you don't value accomplishment. You need accomplishment. And I think that being in that kind of zone of discomfort, on being okay with not being okay, is part of that. And hey, listen, random question. What kind of music do you listen to?
I have very broad tastes. I
like how you slowly answered that.
I mean, I do have my preferences right now. Like I am always looking for originality. I'm an artist. I want people who are creating new things, expressing emotions in a new way, or using technology in a new way. So I am typically listening to some type of electronic music that has some authentic artistic aspect to it. And I'm always trying to find a mood and an expression in the musicality that's like advancing, where, it's kind of the same as in food and beverage. Where's the creativity? Where's like the exciting thinking? Like the product that I pick up and like, wow, I can't believe somebody made this. Like, same thing in music. Like, if I hear or experience a piece of music, I want, the kind that interests me, regardless of genre, is wow, like this is something. This is somebody's real, spiritual or artistic expression. This is cool. So I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
That's a great answer. Hey, this has been amazing. How can people, regardless of whether they can buy it or not, how can they learn more? Where should they go? drhops.com?
Yeah, drhops.com is certainly the best place to get the core essence of the brand. We are still very basic on social media at this point, mostly because I've been doing it myself and I'm not a millennial. so I think drhops.com is the best. And then, certainly if people are really interested in more, they can just email me. I mean, if you email info@drhops, it goes to me, right? Like if you message us on Instagram, it goes to me. Maybe not as quickly, but it goes to me. And those are really the two best platforms, probably is Instagram and drhops.com.
Thank you so much for, first of all, being on the show, but bigger than that, thank you to you and to Lisa and to Tommy for making the world a better place and for sticking with it. I mean, as a founder, you're always the one thanking other people. So, just for this 1 minute in time, I'm thanking you, making the world a better place. And I know our listeners are going to get a great deal of value out of this episode. So thank you so much, Joshua.
Well, thank you for making it possible, Duncan. You're the one who did all the heavy lifting around the podcast. I just showed up and got to be the star. So thank you.
We've been chatting with Joshua Rood, one of the co-founders of Dr. Hops. Go check it out. I'm telling you, it's worth it. If you know someone that's going to Cali or Arizona, persuade them to bring some back for you. Go ask the people at Total Wine or wherever you buy liquor about, hey, I heard about this product because we need this to succeed. This is going to be amazing. It's a genre-crossing dream that has been made reality by Joshua. So thank you so much. This has been another episode of the Firebelly Social Show, where we talk with and shine our light on founders and leaders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you again, Joshua.
You got it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.